why do you feel like, as a parent, that a family standard is a good idea?
Well, I think in any household, some sort of standard is good because it just eliminates the chaos. It eliminates the questions or arguments that come up. And as I've told many people, it's like our family constitution. And if we always refer to the family constitution when something comes up, and it can be amended at times, then there's no argument. If the children all know that this is our family standard, this is what we live by, these are the rules of our home, then it's very simple to maintain peace and harmony in the home.
So when would you ever amend it?
If there's something that comes up that we hadn't thought about when we made the family standard, as the kids grow older, different questions will arise that maybe we didn't think about when we originally wrote the family standard. So those are things we talk about in mentor sessions also, but if something has to be changed or updated in the family standard, then that's something we decide as a family, and that can happen occasionally. But it's something that the family all has to decide on, so that if that comes up again, no need for discussion. We've already discussed it. This is what we decided, and that's how it goes.
So you said before that it helps so that there's not as much contention because everybody just knows, well, this is just how we are. This is what's expected. And so they don't say, oh, come on, I want, a tattoo, or I want my nose pierced or whatever, because they just know that's not how we are. But has it helped you in any way to know that you have a family standard?
Well, I think it helps me and many parents because they have to obey the rules too. And mom or dad just can't say, I'm going to do this because I'm the dad, and I don't care what the family standard says. I as the father, and both of us as parents have to obey the same rules which we came up with, because then if we don't, we're teaching the children, hey, it's do as I say, not as I do, and that's not the example that we're trying to set, because then when they become a parent, if they don't have a standard, or if they do have a standard and don't live by it, then they're setting the wrong example for their kids. So those rules apply to me as much as they do the kids. And so it's helped me to focus on a few things better than, or more intensely than I would have otherwise, because I have to be the example too, to show that to my children.
Okay, so is there anything that you actually omitted from your life? Like, did you make any changes when you adopted a family standard?
I think there were several changes that I had a lot of movies that were not good movies per se, that some were rated R, some were rated PG-13, and our family standard says that some of these movies we don't watch, especially rated R, and there's a lot of PG-13s that might as well have been rated R that I had a very hard time parting with, because these are movies that I had bought and really enjoyed watching when I was younger. So that was kind of a sacrifice for me to have to get rid of all my movies, and we made a rule that if the kids can't watch it, then we shouldn't be watching it either. And that was one in particular that I remember having to get rid of those. And there's little other minor things that weren't so hard to do when we made the family standard. But it helps us all be a team. It helps us, so if I'm watching a show and one of the kids comes in to watch it, there's no need for me to feel nervous about them watching it, because all the shows here are able for the children to watch as well as ourselves.
Speaking of media, you used to watch quite a bit of TV.
I did.
And our family now doesn't watch that much TV. We only watch it one night a week, and it's not even TV. We just watch a video as a family one night a week. How did that change happen? Like, was that a hard change for you? Are you happy about it? Do you not like it? Talk about that for a minute.
I didn't like it when I was going through it, because growing up, we watched a lot of TV. My father and my brother, and Sundays we'd watch football games and the other ball games that were on. So that became kind of a way of life, and I know that that's the same for many dads right now. Is TV is very important. But as I changed that, as in the family standard, that was one of our rules, that we don't watch TV but once a week. So I had to fight that a little bit at first, and it was kind of an evolution process for me to cut that out. But I found that as I watched less TV and was able to spend more time with my family, then those relationships with my children and my wife improved. TV, after a while, didn't, it lost its appeal to me because I wanted to spend more time with my family. And those relationships were more important to me than who won the ball game. Like, you can always check the scores after the game, see who won. But those are the memories that you make with your children. Those are things that they're going to remember. And so I'm trying to example for them that TV is not the most important thing in our life, and it shouldn't take that much time. There is good things on TV, and we are very selective with those things that we let our children watch. And but I'm happy now in hindsight that I did it, and I think my life is happier, and my relationships with my children are stronger because I made that decision.
Okay. Another one in particular, in our family standard, we talk about gossip, that we don't gossip about other people, talk bad about other people in our family and out of the family. Why did we put this in the family standard, and how has it helped us?
Well, I think a lot of us at one point or another have gossiped about someone else, or whether it be a family member or a friend or someone that you know. And it just doesn't do anybody any good. It brings you down. It forms opinions of the people you talk to about someone else, and it's a hard thing to do because it's very easy to get into the habit of say so and so did this, so and so did this. I hated it, and I just don't want to be around them or talk to them. But that really only hurts you when you gossip. And so this year's one of my New Year's resolutions was to not talk badly about other people. And so when I told that to my kids, sometimes they remind me, and my wife will remind me, you're talking bad about someone, and I have to step back and say, you're right. I'm trying to fix that. And whether or not people talk bad about me, which I'm sure they do, I can't let that affect me because.
So you're saying that when you were writing the family standard years back, that you even took into account things you knew you had a weakness with.
Absolutely.
And that you kept going, okay, the ideal is we conquer all these weaknesses. And so what's the philosophy behind putting all those weaknesses in there and really examining yourself in that way? Like, what does that do for your family?
Well, we're given weaknesses. The scriptures tell us we're given weaknesses to make us stronger. So once we can master the weaknesses and slowly check them off one by one, we become a greater person. And all those people that I admire, I've never heard them speak badly about people. They're always happy, they're always cheerful, and I'm sure they have their disagreements and things like that, but you never hear a disparaging word out of their mouth about anyone else. And that I found was a great quality, among others that we talked about in the family standard, that I need to change myself. And in order for me to do that, to be the kind of person I want to be, I have to let some things go.
So it sounds like one of the key things is that the Peck family didn't make this standard just to try and impose things on the kids, but this was for the whole family.
It's a learning process for us all. Now, the first step is as parents, we have to be willing and able to change in order for our children to change. We can't change their hearts without first changing ourselves, because one day they're going to be us. If we want them to grow up with the bad habits that we have, if we don't change them, then that's what they're gonna take with them. So I had some baggage I had to get rid of, and I think a lot of people do. And it's a kind of a transformation in a good way for me to be the kind of person I want to be. So when someone talks about me, I want them to be able to say, I don't ever hear him say a bad thing about anybody. He's always happy. He's cheerful. He likes to build people up. It's easy to tear somebody down. It's much harder to build them up. And if your children see you doing that and building them up also all the time, then it builds you at the same time. And sooner or later it becomes a habit to do so.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts.